My Friend the Penguin. So I didn't really know what this movie was. I thought it was some kind of Christian movie or something, and I tried to look up and see if this was a Christian movie. I saw one review calling it a Christian movie. But other than that, I didn't really see any confirmation of like, is this like a Christian movie? It Now, if it is a Christian movie, you wouldn't know. But is it like backed by a Christian company or whatever? I don't usually try to support those movies because they're all usually bad or they're made by some far right group that is objectively evil and you should not support in any form. Um, so I don't know. I didn't really go into this movie knowing what it was, but I got off work at 5 and I wanted to go see Coraline 3D at 7, and so this movie was playing at 5, and I was like, okay, let me go watch this movie. So I went into the theater, sat down, and I surprisingly really liked this movie. This is a very charming movie. Essentially, the story of this movie, it's based on a true story, is there's the older man in Brazil and who lives with his wife in this tiny remote island. Like nobody, this is so remote, like no one's really there. It's a small community of people who all love and take care of one another. But basically, this old man became distant from everybody due to some tragedy that I won't spoil, and eventually he's out doing his fisherman stuff, finds this penguin, and this penguin uh, needs to be nursed back to health, essentially. So he nurses it back to health, takes care of it, and this penguin basically grows a bond with this human, and so basically every winter the penguin comes back, and then every summer the penguin leaves, and that's the story of the movie. The penguin goes back and forth, and then people eventually discover this penguin. It becomes a news story, and they want to, take it to a like a facility, but then they realize that's probably not what's best for the penguin. It needs to be with this dude, and so there's all this like story to it, and it's actually based on a true story, which is a really fascinating story. Basically, this penguin would travel over 5,000 miles from this tiny area in Brazil, I believe, back to Argentina or Antarctica. I forget which one they said, but yeah, it's pretty nuts, like what this penguin was doing just because it loved this person. Like it's pretty fascinating, and there's like real pictures of the dude holding the penguin and stuff. It's pretty funny. This movie's just it's not really like some amazingly well made movie, right? There's some flaws I'll get into in just a second, but I think it's just a charming story of this dude and this penguin, right? Because this penguin is it from what I understand about this movie, they did use a real penguin. There's definitely some shots of CGI, but they clearly trained a real penguin, and it's just really cute. You see this guy that's like taking naps with this penguin. He's feeding it, right? And it's just there's nothing really deeper in this movie than that, and it doesn't feel cheap because there's an honest heart to it. Like towards the end of the movie, when the penguin didn't return, I got choked up, like and stuff, and it was kind of actually like you really get invested with this movie, because when I get in this movie I was not really interested. I was just kind of there to kill some time, and then I got really invested into this story of a broken man take care of this penguin, and it's just really well done. um, and our lead actor who plays the old man, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He is fantastic. uh, you know he just really gives you everything emotion you need for this character, and it's just great. A lot of the other cast here, they're not great. They're fine, but they definitely feel like they know they're acting in a movie, and it doesn't feel like as genuine as you'd like it to be. But him specifically in this penguin is what needs to carry the movie, and that's what works. In terms of criticisms, other than like I said, the acting not being the greatest, it's fine though. The main thing that bothered me was I think the storyline about these people trying to like exploit the fame of Ding Ding the penguin. It's just dumb. Like, I don't know if it happened in real life, but if it did, it definitely didn't happen the way in the movie, right? It didn't happen with them leaving the crate open and the penguin escaping and traveling home. Like, it's just so this movie had a conflict, which I get, but it just felt not in line with the rest of the movie. It just was very um, lazy, and and they had the worst acting and scenes. They were not interesting characters. So I don't know, and I don't. I can't imagine it happened in real life, right? Because the way they described the story at the end of the movie, showing the real pictures, doesn't sound like it happened in real life. I don't know for certain, but I don't think it did. And then I think any shot where they used the penguin um, using CGI is bad. Clearly, this movie did not have the budget for that, and so yeah. But at the same time, they do use it to a minimal, and it's not so bad. It's hard to look at, but it's not good CGI, and you can tell that it's CGI. But like that's fine because at the end of the day, this movie did a great job of using it to a minimum, and they actually did train a real penguin, so it's a pretty sweet movie. Um, I think if it's playing in limited release near you, you honestly should watch it. It's pretty sad. Um, it's a little bit of a tearjerker. It's a sweet movie. And not the usual kind of movie that I connect with. I don't like movies that are really trying to make you feel something and it doesn't really feel genuine. But something about this movie, I don't know how, was able to break through that and actually feel very genuine, and I really was able to appreciate a film like this.